the concept of doll and wardrobe like Barbie is nothing new. It's existed for a long time, and we sort of kick off our exhibit with this antique wooden doll that had a vast wardrobe of clothing, costumes, and accessories that is stored in a fabulous trunk. And although 200 years earlier, that concept of a fabulous adult fashion doll with a wardrobe of clothes and a trunk is very similar to what we've come to know with Barbie. But like I said, the idea isn't new, but it's a fabulous testament that young people love to play, dress up, and create concepts and ideas and play out activities with the doll.
And what is interesting, Bradley, too, is this very ancient doll has a name, so she has an identity like Barbie.
Like Barbie. Mm-hmm. She's Miss Maude Middleton, and she has a fabulous trousseau.
And I think that we could also say that she's a young lady.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And look at those shoes.
It's amazing that for more than 200 years old, she has all of her little, accessories,
lingerie, and
all of her stuff. I'm very impressed with the pockets and the stays.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we could spend all day looking at her, but shall we look at?
Sure. Well, let's take a look at a doll and wardrobe that I think you're very familiar with.
Oh, I think I've seen these a time or two, but this is a real beauty.
Well, Maison Huret kind of revolutionized the idea of doll and costume. She set up a boutique in Paris and sold a luxury doll with a luxury wardrobe, and all around Paris, all kinds of other little boutiques sprung up to help support this industry, and it was really an amazing time to be playing dolls, I think.
Well, and like Barbie, I think this was an accident, but then once this doll was created, then it sparked a whole industry that did not exist before.
That's true, and that's the same way as I described Barbie, that she set a new industry standard. Suddenly, it was very different than everything, but everybody followed.
And I think in business with Barbie, is it not the things that probably bring the company more money than actually the doll sales?
Oh, I think the doll they could practically give away, and then all of the money would come from the accessories. The cases, the shoes, the dresses.
And this is the same with the Huret company. So shall we look at somebody I think is very important
She has
in the story.
A lot in common with Barbie that on the surface may not be too obvious. This is the Poupée-Statuette, which is a French doll.
Radiguet Cordonnier.
Exactly. And the first thing you may notice is she has the insinuation of a bust. She has sort of molded breasts on her bust.
Not a little bit, Bradley.
Well,
she's fully developed.
well, maybe I'm comparing her to Barbie, but yes, she does have molded breasts, and she was designed to be a fashion doll. The one thing that you really can't see by looking at her that makes her very much like the original Barbie is she has holes in the bottom of her feet to accommodate a special posing stand, which was the wooden pedestal that had two metal prongs that stuck up for her to stand on. So there was no bulk around the waist, holding her up with a posing stand. She had this very special posing stand.
And I think just like Barbie, the Poupée-Statuette has the ideal body for its time frame. What they would consider a lovely figure.
Yes. And I love the very delicately molded hands with the insinuation of the fingernail.
Yes,
detail,
they are beautiful.
Which, Barbie also had those sort of divided fingers and very elegant hands as well.
And she had defined fingernails.
Yes.
Too. Yes. Well, this is a beauty.
Well, Michael, let's take a look at something a little more of the same century as Barbie, and actually kind of was yet another step in the direction of Barbie that may not be completely obvious to folks, but this is Madame Alexander's Sissy from 1955. Now, she had more of a defined bust, and the one thing that's very similar to Barbie is she had the sculpted foot for a high heel shoe. And compared to Barbie, she seems a little benign. However, in 1955, she was kind of revolutionary, and Madame Alexandra was actually kind of critiqued for doing this grown-up, sort of adult figure doll as well.
Well, I personally think they're just such a beautiful doll and lovely faces, and they always have wonderful hairstyles, and the clothes
the clothing is just so luxurious for these dolls. This one's just breathtaking. I love this example.
Beautiful coloring. And I have not seen this yellow dress before.
It's very rare. It's very pale, pale, pale yellow.
Beautiful.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.